Welcome my good smelling friends. Today, as you can see, we're going to have a haul of fragrances. And we have the following. Tommy Hilfiger Impact Intense, Prada Amber pour Femme, Prada Amber pour Homme, Ici l'eau d'or Cologne by a brand called Compagnie de Provence. This one is by Hilfiger and this one is Eau Triple Éthérée de Cologne, Armani Code Absolute, Hermès Voyage Parfum, Hermes 24 Faubourg, Eau de Toilette and Eau de Parfum. Now, some of these I already smelled a while ago, some I did not smell at all, some have been discontinued. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to spray them on these blotters. I'm going to see them how they smell the first time, initial spray, and then as I go through the video, I'm going to come back later and revisit the blotters to see how they dry down. So I'm going to start with the ones that I know they are on the fresh side. So if I go with the stronger ones, probably I'm not going to be able to smell the fresh ones. So let's start with the big fella right here, the Hilfiger Eau Triple Éthérée de Cologne. This is going to be a huge bottle. This is a splash cologne aftershave. I'm probably going to have to put a hole in this because take a look. It has a metal lid which is well glued to the top of the bottle. There you go. I managed to get a hole in there. I'm gonna put a bit on my palm. This one. Okay. I've smelled this before in one of their other fragrances. Another one of these big bottles, which was called à la reine de fleur. I've mentioned this in another video. It's basically an even older version of Tom Ford Neroli Portofino. So it's not a clone, it's actually where this smell began, because it's an even older creation than Tom Ford Neroli Portofino or 4711. But I have saved a decant of à la reine de fleur, and I'm going to do a comparison because I did not keep the big bottle. I really don't need such a big bottle. Now that I look on the box, it does say here à la reine de fleur. I mean, the other one I had, it was called à la reine de fleur. I'm gonna put it around somewhere here so you can actually see it. Let's continue with another fresh fragrance. This one I already know how it smells, but it was a while ago since I've smelled it. I can already smell it through the box. It smells so nice. This is pure Hermès quality right here. And there you go. Nice presentation. It actually has a sticker on this, not metallic, I don't know if this is metallic, it's probably plastic, but it's so shiny and so polished that it's very easy to scratch. So that's why they put a plastic foil on it. But there you go. Whoops. The atomizer fell off, but it's probably normal because it hasn't been used. Actually, it has been leaking a bit. Actually, it has been leaking a lot because there's only half of the juice left. That may be the reason why the box was reeking of Hermès Voyage inside. I know this is a refillable bottle, but this shouldn't have happened. It definitely leaked because I can feel it on my hands, on my fingers, it's all over the place. Okay, so the atomizer doesn't stay in place. I can use it, but then just comes off. I don't know if this is normal. I haven't been using this bottle before. So let me know in the comments below, is this normal? You're using it, you're spraying your cell phone and then you take it off. Is it not normal? Okay, so that's a bit of a disappointment considering it comes from Hermès. I also think it may have lost some of the top notes because it feels like something is missing. It doesn't smell that great in the opening, but the box smells good. I remember that the way this was supposed to smell is the way the box smells. Right now it just smells like wet cement, with some green scent in the background, green aspect to it. I'm gonna leave it aside for now and see how it turns out later on. I'm gonna now move on to Ici L'Eau Odeur Cologne, because I think this also is a fresh fragrance. Looking at the box, by the name of the fragrance, all usually means it's going to be an aquatic or a fresh fragrance. Interesting presentation, not too bad to be honest. The lid feels a bit cheap, but it's well made, it stays in place. Let's check the atomizer. Oh, the atomizer is great. Okay, so let's see how this fragrance initially smells like. It's very, very feminine, a bit generic, but not too generic. It's interesting. It has this French quality to it, sweet citruses on top, florals right away, some white flowers, some watery aspect to it. But I do see it drying down like a sweet balsamic fragrance with the florals in the background. Let's just move it aside for now and continue. I'm going to now unbox the Prada Amber perfume because I think this is probably not as strong as the rest of them, the remaining ones. Okay, this is how the bottle looks like. Reminds me a bit of the Homme fragrances. Okay, good atomizer. Oh, this is strong. This is strong. I did a couple of sprays, good sprays. Fruity, powdery right from the start. Some florals as well. But it smells a bit dated. It also has a mature vibe to it. But I like it. It's elegant. It's made in good taste. It's rich. I like that it smells rich, dense. This is definitely not for young women. I like it because it's not as common as other generic fragrances for women. Let's continue with the Prada Amber Pour Homme. See what's inside here. Let's see, what do we have here? I did smell this in the past. Now I'm just going to remember it because it was a while ago. I know it's soapy, powdery, and baby powder and soap. Not that much amber, the amber that we know, that's resinous, sweet, smooth. Get this on. Yep. So soapy from the start. It gives me a bit of a bug spray effect. I remembered it smelling more powdery than it is right now. I think I'm still smelling some of the Prada Amber perfume on my hand because I missed the spray a bit. Okay, I remember liking this more. It smells a bit like those... Well, I'm glad I revisited this fragrance, which by the way, I think they are both discontinued. I'm getting too much of a bug spray, something smell related to products against bugs. Okay, let's just leave it for a moment, see how it settles down. Maybe it becomes better. Let's keep going. So far I'm pretty disappointed of this haul of fragrances. I cannot say that I have one fragrance which is amazing. I have actually, I think the one that I like the most based on how much it costs and how it smells for the value, it's this one, the big bottle. But let's keep going. I'm gonna continue with the Hermès 24 Faubourg, the Eau de Toilette. I have really high hopes with this because I've read about it and people describe it, women especially describe it as like one of the essential fragrances for women, the perfect fragrance for women. So let's see if it's true or not. The bottle is just gorgeous. Take a look. It's just great. Quality of the lid is also really good. Let's check the atomizer. Hopefully this time no problems with the bottle and atomizer. I'm looking at Hermès Voyage. So, okay, I understand what women said. This is in the same genre as fragrances like Chanel No. 5. So it's not for every lady out there, it's not for teenagers, at least not yet, but it doesn't feel as old school as Chanel No. 5. The florals used in this fragrance are making it smell mature and dated. It's definitely heavy on florals. This fragrance actually now reminds me of an Armaf I used to own and smelled similar to this one. Definitely not the same quality. This is definitely high quality. I could see this being marketed as a niche fragrance. This is definitely for a old but sophisticated lady. Definitely not for the younger crowd here. No. I appreciate this fragrance for what it is and how it smells. However, I don't see my partner wearing this kind of fragrance, at least not yet. But I'm gonna leave it aside, see how it develops later on. And now let's check the eau de parfum, see if there's any difference or it's simply just stronger. Right here, I don't know if you can see it. It's not that important right now, but the bottle does look the same to me. Actually, the color of the juice is darker in the eau de toilette. I don't know if you're able to see this, but this one is the eau de toilette and the color of the juice looks darker, which gives the impression of a more intense juice. It's weird, but let's see. I do know that fragrances like this, even if they are eau de toilette, they are strong. So I'm curious to see if the eau de parfum actually makes a difference. I'm not gonna do too many sprays, that's enough. It does feel like it has something more, but not too much different. And maybe slightly more intense. It's very close, I actually wouldn't see right now why I should get the eau de parfum instead of eau de toilette or vice versa. I'm gonna leave it aside by now because it just doesn't smell that different. So it's basically the same juice. Let's continue with this one, with the Hilfiger Impact. Okay, so bottle also looks pretty interesting. Let's check the atomizer. Oh, the lid is actually heavy. It's not just plastic, it's thick plastic. Decent atomizer, nothing really special here. Okay, opening is really nice. So this is Impact Intense, okay? It smells nice, smells really nice. It's fruity, it's a bit smoky. And it's different than the other designer fragrances. I mean, it's sweet, it's up to date in that matter, but it didn't take everything from a fragrance that was popular like the other designers do and then add something up, tweak it a bit. No, it feels like a completely new fragrance, but very modern, very up to date, and can compete with the other popular designer fragrances. And definitely this doesn't smell like a Hilfiger fragrance. This stuff is really good. Hilfiger Impact Intense, really good fragrance. So far, I think I like it the most out of these. We have just one more left, and that's the Armani Code Absolute, which most of you probably already know by now. It's one of the best flanker of the Armani Code line. I had smelled this in the past because I wanted to compare it with my Code Profumo, which I thought it was the best flanker, and I didn't think at that time that it was worth having both. I actually thought that the Profumo projected better, while this one was smoother. That one, the Profumo, was more powdery. But let's put this on a blotter and see how it smells now. High quality, very high quality bottle. It feels great in the hand, like all of the bottles from this line. And great atomizer as well. So Armani Code Absolute smells great. It feels like a more complete version of the original Code. Smoother than the Profumo, feels like it's better blended. I think now I could see this one being better than Profumo, while that one had this sometime overwhelming powdery aspect to it. I can see why this one was considered until now the best flanker of the original code. Now I need to compare this to the new release, the Code Parfum. Okay, I've realigned them so you can see them better, and now I'm gonna smell the dry down to see if anything has changed. But initial impression was that I liked the most the Hilfiger Impact. Not that it smelled better than the Code Absolute, which is amazing, but it smells so nice coming from Tommy Hilfiger. Such a really nice release. And the most disappointing one, I think it was the Amber, the Prada Amber Pour Homme, because I remembered it being smelling better. I know the Hermès Voyage had that problem. It still has the problem where it leaked, and it probably, the juice got ruined because the top notes felt a bit off. Still, the Amber Pour Homme, the Prada Amber Pour Homme, it smells really bad to me. And I don't think it's something wrong with the juice. It's just that's how it smells. But let me go through these all again. Let me start with the big fella right here, which is still here on my palm, but it smells the same as La Reine de Fleur. Now I'm gonna smell the Voyage by Hermès because I want to see if the smell got fixed at this point. Yeah, now I'm smelling something. It's not as intense as I hoped it would be. I can smell it better from the box. And this one is the Parfum version. It's also an eau de toilette out there. But yeah, it smells nice. It smells nice. It's definitely in the range of high quality fresh fragrances coming from Hermès. Considering its quality and how different it smells from the rest of the designer fragrances, I can see this as a niche fragrance. If it's being created like from a company like L'Artisan Parfumeur or even Penhaligon's, yeah, I could see it. I could see this being a niche smell. Now the other freshie, the Ici Lo, I forgot the name, Ici Lo Edor Cologne. Let's see how this one developed until now. Okay, so this one basically remained a floral fragrance with some nectar, floral nectar sweetness, but smells pretty generic. Nothing special here, but not too boring. Orange sweetness, not too bad. I think this one is not too expensive also, so I wouldn't say it's a bad fragrance, but not too interesting either, especially if you're owning a couple of fragrances. I'm not gonna go with the Prada now because it's strong. I can still smell it. So I'm gonna smell the other Hermès, the 24 Faubourg, I think it's pronounced. And I'm gonna grab the eau de toilette first. This is the eau de parfum. This is the eau de toilette. It hasn't changed that much. It's a very complex fragrance, don't get me wrong, but it still feels like it's a fragrance for a mature women, sophisticated, high class, but still in the same range of fragrances like Chanel No. 5. And now the eau de parfum. Let's smell it quickly. Okay, so the eau de toilette feels a bit more complex now. So smelling them side by side, I can only tell that the eau de toilette is a bit sweeter and it has a bit more woods, but overall the eau de parfum feels a bit more intense, but it feels like it's lacking something. So the eau de toilette feels more complex. It's weird, but that's how I smell them. Yeah, there's not that much of a difference. So only the eau de toilette or the eau de parfum, not that big of a difference. Okay, I'm curious about the Prada Amber Pour Homme now. Okay, now it smells a bit better. Actually, it smells a lot better because now it smells like a fragrance. When I first sprayed it, it smelled like bug spray. Still has a bit of that bug spray, but just a bit. It's not that annoying now. Now it smells more like the old school fragrances coming from Prada, like Prada Infusion Diaries. It smells like sheets, clean sheets, soap mixed with soap, some baby powder. With this one, you definitely need to wait for the dry down because initially it might put you off. Now the Amber perfume. Okay, this is weird now. It has this sparkling sweetness to it now. Doesn't feel as old school as it felt initially. It's still floral, highly floral and powdery. Sometimes I feel it's earthy, sometimes now I'm feeling like it's a milky smell. I can see this being off-putting for people, depending on how you perceive this weird smell. And now the Hilfiger, the Impact. This still smells nice. It's well-rounded, it has this leathery, woody leathery effect. It's also a bit smoky, but it's also sweet and fruity. I really like this one. This one so far impressed me the most. And now the last one, the Armani Code Absolute. Deepness, some of its richness has faded away right now, because in the opening it felt like it had more going on. You might laugh, but right now the sweetness that I'm getting from this fragrance reminds me of Paco Rabanne's 1 Million, and it lost some of the Code DNA. Yeah, now I can see why I liked the Profumo better. Don't get me wrong, it's still a great flanker, but I think it has too less of the Code DNA, and it's going too sweet and too 1 million-ish. And I can say right now, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's going to change even further on, which I doubt. I doubt it's going to change so dramatically that it's not going to smell like it's smelling right now. But I can tell you right now that the Code Parfum that it's just being released right now, it smells better. Okay, so this haul of fragrances wasn't such a big success in my opinion. I love the Hilfiger Impact Intense. I like the Code Absolute, but I don't think it's necessarily the best flanker. I like the Hermès 24 Faubourg for its class and its complexity, but I think it's a fragrance for someone older. I like Hermès Voyage because of its high quality citruses and high quality green ingredients and notes, making it smell so clean, so fresh, so uplifting, and like I said, almost niche-like. The EC, it's alright. The Prada fragrances worth having only if you are a collector, but I don't see people reaching for them like they would like them to be their signature scent. And that was it, guys. I would appreciate you leaving comments below telling me what's your opinion about these fragrances. And until the next video, of course, you keep smelling great.